Now then, I just went live on another stream, and I don't know where, and I don't know why it went live on another stream, but it's gone live on the correct one now. How's it going? Did you have a good weekend? United didn't ruin it, did they? That's a bonus for everyone, surely. I had a pretty good weekend. Long drive to and from London. Absolutely wiped me out, that did. There and back. Jeebus. Managed to get to London just before Brendan's fight kicked off. Oof. So needed that one. Absolutely needed that one. Yeah, good day out all around, actually. Rocky Edwards becoming UFC champion. Brendan booking his place in the final of PFL. And obviously we won in the afternoon as well. What a top day all around. Sensational stuff. Right, so let's talk about what we're here to talk about today then. We have got potentially another transfer. I saw Laurie sort of mention earlier that we're expecting a busy end to the transfer window. Well, it needs to be a little bit of a busy end, doesn't it? Because we're still about, feels like half a dozen players away from completing any sort of window. So first up, Romano says United are in contact with Antony's agent and a deal now depends on Ajax's decision. Key days ahead. Cody Gakpo is also in direct contact with United for the last 2 weeks. Gakpo's always been on United's list and he has the same agents as Erik ten Hag. Find that quite interesting. Laura Whitwell says, sources claim Ajax would have accepted 80 million from United for Antony when the transfer market opened. Don't know if that's saying that they would take that now or not. Jason Burt says United are set to bid for Gakpo and see who they can sign out of him or Antony first. PSV want 38.2 million, including add-ons, while United hope that a bid of 34 million will succeed. Doesn't seem like there's a lot in it there. I do think that sounds like one that we could probably get over the line. Paul Hurt says Antony has a heart set on a reunion with Ten Hag at United, who are expected to return with another offer over their latest bid worth 67 million after that was rejected last week. And a PSV insider, Rick Efflink, he's saying Cody Gakpo to United can happen fast after PSV versus Rangers on Wednesday. United have some sort of personal agreement, apparently, according to him, with Cody Gakpo's agents, obviously Ten Hag's agents, so you would assume that they can get that stuff done quite quickly. Gakpo is close to joining United. Once United's formal bid is made, the deal is expected to be done. So that's positive. It looks like we're going to get a winger. It could be a left winger, it could be a right winger, but it does look like we are about to get a winger. I still think we need reinforcements in plenty of other areas, including striker. Wouldn't be shocked to see a right back maybe come over the line as well. And I think a lot of us would love another midfielder, to be brutally honest, but I don't know if we'll get that. I think it might be a striker or a right back on top of a winger coming in. But that's generally positive, I think. It's something that we need. And Jay Jum says, why not get De Jong and Gakpo instead of Antony, I'm assuming that is. Yeah, I think that wouldn't be a bad idea. I think you've also got to try and... I said this all the time. People are like, just pay the money. It's not about just pay the money, is it? Because we're not a team that has unlimited funds. We do have to recoup some money and we do have to balance the books. We're not backed by an oil nation. So... because of that, I think that we have to figure out how we're going to budget what we're going to budget. Madison says, is Gakpo left-footed? I think he's right-footed. Patrick says, are we going to go and get a striker? Belotti. Now, I saw Mourinho talking about Belotti. Mentioned that he's a free agent, so he can talk about him, and that's probably true. I mean, that is true. Why no one else is talking about him, I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. Is he asking for all sorts of cash? That could be true. I'm not sure. Daniel Farder says Belotti is going Roma. I think he's probably going Roma as well. Brian Casey says, morning Steve, really hope that this news is true. If we can get both, we could say it would be the best transfer window post-Fergie. Too early to say that, I think. Too early to say that, I think. Paul Murray says supposedly De Jong will sign. United reps in Barcelona to seal a move after more funds were sanctioned. Where's that? That's an interesting one if that's the case. I haven't seen that if that is the case. Shift Titan says, who would I prefer, Gakpo or Antony? I would take Gakpo cheap. But yeah, I think I lean towards Gakpo, knowing that maybe we can use that extra 30 million to reinforce another position as well. That's what I'm thinking. Dale says, I'm missing a trick by not being sponsored by Greggs or Mars, as seeing a half-eaten Twix and a Greggs is included in every transfer. I can't believe I've not been sponsored by Red Bull all this time. Bastards. Seth says, any plans to get athletic journals on podcast soon? They're always great on your channel. No, what I've decided to do is I kind of leave journalists alone and let the fan channel take journalists. I do want to bring the warm down back, but the people I want as guests are a lot more difficult than bringing in journalists who always want to talk about the work that they've just written. I'm trying to bring in ex-players and coaches and that sort of stuff. So that's difficult to do. CJ says, Big H to go to Chelsea, please. As much as I would like it, I can't see it. Remy Texture says, you need a Captain Morgan sponsor, to be honest. Yeah, I do. Or any rum. Sander Berg has a 35 million release clause and Sheffield could accept less. I don't know if that's enough of what we want in terms of improving what we've got, to be honest. Jerin says, Steve Law reported that Varane and Martinez trained together. Maguire to be dropped. I hope so. Because what Liverpool are good at, he's bad at. There's no reason to play him. If you watch the last Liverpool game, it was a Harry Maguire disaster class, honestly. And anyone saying otherwise didn't watch the game or doesn't understand football. I mean, at no point, and it did my tits in this, like, Ollie got slaughtered for this. But you're seeing Mo Salah run across the front post of Harry Maguire. Your only job as a defender in the 6-yard box is to get across the front post. That is like the most nailed on. That's not like there's sometimes philosophies can differentiate between different coaches. There's not a coach in the world who will tell you to let a man run across you at the front post. Not one. It's so basic that it's just unfathomably shit from Harry Maguire. I saw someone tweet the other day and say, if I didn't have such strong opinions on Maguire, the fan base would be more accepting of him. One, that's fucking rude to most of the fan base to assume that just because I have an opinion, everyone shares it, because that's not the case. I argue with people all the time about my different opinions on different players, and some people agree and some people don't, and that's football. You know, you are entitled to see the game as you see it. It's one of the most opinion-driven sports in the world. You know, most other sports, certainly American sports, are very, very data-driven, and that's become a lot of the way people argue with things in the UK and in football in Europe. But there's some things that are very opinion-based. And that's just how you like to see the game played is on you. Do you know what I mean? So there's certain things that Maguire does that for me are inarguable and inarguably shit as a centre half. It's one of those. Paul says, can't help but feel Neves would be a final piece of the puzzle. Prem proven, many years left. I really like Neves. I do really like Neves. I agree. Thoughts on Mo Salah versus Luke Shaw today? Don't want to see it. But he might go with him thinking that he has the knowledge of Mo Salah versus Malacia, who doesn't. James says, would I be able to do a video on who could potentially replace Maguire if he did leave, and don't let it be Phil Jones? But Martinez and Varane. You've got Lindelof in backup. Job's a good one. Paul says, Martinez has been training this week playing in midfield. Has he really? Jay says, why do I think because I have a couple of books written by coaches that I'm the next Pep or Cruyff? At what point have you ever heard me come up with anything of those sorts of lines? I literally started a football team so I could learn. I literally have a 63-year-old director of football that is a FA coach mentor to mentor me. If anything, it's the fucking opposite, you absolute ball sniffer. Like, I don't think I know everything. I'm very fucking intrigued by it, very dedicated to it, and I work hard to get better at it, in trying to improve my understanding. It's the complete fucking opposite of what you think it is. Why have we never tried McFred as a front two? What? Martinez as a 6 could work. It definitely could work, and he's played there before. I just don't think it's where I would get the best out of him, in all honesty. Liam says, broke my finger, off work for a week, blackout drunk tonight regardless of the result. Richard Porter says, would Martinez and Maguire work in a 3 with win-backs? They probably would, but I don't think that's how Ten Hag wants to play the game. Would I be shocked to see Rashford leave? I think I would, yeah. Want to see Malacia shut out Salah? I'd love to, but I don't necessarily have the confidence that he would do. Dicky says Belotti wants to stay in Italy. That probably deals with it, doesn't it? Poundland Pele says, Steve, please ask those to shout Glazers out every time Liverpool touch the ball. That's not going to work, is it? Have to come to Singapore. Love to bring you to a live game. We did go to Singapore. There was no football by United that was playing there, though. Predicted points for the next 3 games. That's interesting, isn't it? I think tonight could be a draw, you know. I actually think tonight could be a draw. Patrick says, and going forward, fuck knows. It's Southampton. Is it Southampton and Arsenal? That sounds like about right, doesn't it? I think you can beat Southampton. I actually think we probably get turned over by Arsenal. I think they're probably going to be on a bit of a high until about October, when they get like deep into the middle of the Europa League, and I think that's where they start to come undone a little bit. Remy Texture says McTom could bag double digits as a striker, I reckon. I think that's a total misunderstanding of what happens for strikers. What are my expectations on the protest tonight? I think, will it have a significant impact? You're protesting people fucking thousands of miles away. I'm happy for it. I'm happy to see people voicing their opinions on it, but I don't necessarily know what impact it has on the Glazers. Will the protest be reported on? Yes. Will they get wind of it? You would hope so. But supposedly they're a little Donald Trumpish in their sort of outlook, in terms of like they don't like being brought bad news. So I don't necessarily know if it'll get to them. Maybe it's something that you would hope Richard Arnold, etc., can give them. What signing do I regret we missed out on the most? Even though he would have been broken, R9. Even though like it was absolutely broken biscuits, but yeah. Shady says, what do I think about using Alanga as a right back? Where do some of you lot get these ideas from? Tom says, do I think Arsenal will have us in Europa League? Would love to win it, and the trip to the final would be great, but can't help feel that Arsenal are too far ahead of us. This is a team that finished 8th 12 months ago. You know, are they ahead of us? I think they're playing confidently at the moment. They obviously had a good pre-season. They've allowed that to bounce into their season. Arteta's been there, what is it, his 3rd year or 4th year? Third or 4th season? You would hope that he has actually started to turn the corner now. But the way he's being wanked into oblivion versus the way that they kicked off, Wenger kept them in perpetually in 4th. And that wasn't good enough. Winning FA Cups and coming 4th wasn't good enough, but winning FA Cups and coming 8th is now good enough. Make that make sense. Would I still go for Saul? Yes, Saul is better than all of our midfielders. Despite how bad he played last year, he was up against better midfielders. Good afternoon from Malaysia, said Edward. Good afternoon. Who's the best 8 available to fit Ten Hag's system? I think it could be Saul. I think Saul would be a good... Not Saul, sorry. He's got Saul in the brain. Milinkovic-Savic, sorry. Patrick says, why we all of a sudden decide to buy everyone at the end of the window? Why didn't we do all our business at the start? I honestly don't know. I really don't know. Everybody, Jay says, Arsenal are leagues ahead of us. Come on. I mean, when did we become the benchmark for English football? This current United is not the benchmark for English football in the slightest. We are shit. Provably, objectively shit, which is why I think they probably beat us in a couple of weeks. But that doesn't quantify... We are not the current benchmark of where you should be. They've beaten teams you would expect them to beat so far this season, including a good performance against Bournemouth. But do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, so what? What fucked Arsenal up last year was when they had to play more than one game a week. I don't think that squad's capable of doing it, and I'm not sure that Arteta's the one that's able to rotate effectively. So I think once the Europa League starts to impact them, I think that's when you see them slip up. They crumbled. They should have finished top 4 last year, but they didn't. So I'm expecting that to happen. You always have teams that can run away and rack up 4, 5, 6 wins. After that, we'll see where they're truly at. But I think October, it'll probably be coming off. Sandy says, any paddock content coming today? Yes, the highlights from Saturday's win. Very good performance as well on Saturday. Should be out today, I believe. Notch says, we will not sign anyone else. Casemiro's being introduced to nullify the boycott. I actually think we're going to sign one more, and I think it'll be Gakpo. Us throwing in bids for fucking Felix and all the rest of them, I'm not having that. I saw that and went, no. Regan says, yeah, they've done well, but they need a challenge still. Yeah, when it gets to 2 games a week, when one of their players gets injured, we'll see what they're like. Because Arsenal, like outside of the crunch time, have got some insane record for years and years and years. Like, do you remember they was going for a treble in 2008? Remind me what they won. When Eduardo broke his leg, they fucking crumbled. This is a trait of this club. So yeah, what's the deadline day plan? I think deadline day is a Wednesday, is it right? Have I got that right? Is it next Wednesday? Let me have a quick look. Is it on the Wednesday or the Thursday? I'm not 100% sure, actually. Brian says, what 11 would I play tonight? The one that I put in my preview. Josh, remember last year we played first 3 games of the season and everyone says you've not played any big teams. Where's this for Arsenal? No further questions, Your Honour. Why did I predict United finishing 4th? Well, did you watch the video? Because I'm pretty certain I said I'm not 100% sure I believe this, but I'd rather be optimistic than right than negative and wrong. Or, no, rather be optimistic and wrong than negative and right. And I also said I'm literally doing this to piss Arsenal fans up. So shut up. Like, it's a bit of fun. This isn't me saying I'm going to stake my entire reputation and firstborn child on this being right, is it? It's a bit of fucking fun. Literally said, I'll put Arsenal 8th. Now, do I think they'll finish 8th? Nah, probably not. But it's boring just saying they're going to finish 5th or 6th, isn't it? You know what I mean? Righty, I'm going to rock and roll it there. Cheers for tuning in, everyone. I'm doing a video on where what's it's going to fit in. Casemiro's going to fit in, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. We will have a Vibe with 5 coming out a little bit later on today, ahead of the game. And then I'll be live with Rio, as well as all my stuff post-match as well tonight. So make sure to tune in for all of those. Have a good day. If you're in work, just take like 5 shits on work time. That's the drill. And I'll see you in the next one. Laters.